Hey, it's Ryan from Chris Peterson Mortgages. I'm here with Chris again. Just discussing some of the options for clients who find themselves in a position where they want to get into the investment market, but often the 40% restrictions kind of keeping them out of it. There are lenders that give us the option of basically going up to 70, sometimes 80% LVR on these investments, and having the option of doing this can often be the difference between making a deal work and missing out on it.
Yeah, so to understand these lenders all have their differences. One, as an example, will only lend to basically clients in personal names. Another one will only fund investment properties if they're also retaining the owner-occupied property, which is not our ideal situation, but sometimes you might need to break a rule and then sort that out down the track. Another one where we've done a deal recently is they'll basically do a 70% first at pretty much bank rates. And then they, depending on the client situation, may allow a 5 or a 10% second behind them. So you can kind of get into that kind of 75, 80% area. Now, it's important in this part of the market that you understand numbers. A lot of people, if they looked at that, they'd be scared by the second mortgage situation where the interest rate, is actually in about the mid-teens, and they just freak out at that. But we had a situation recently where, because the client was able to purchase the property at a significant discount, the aim is to basically buy the property after 6 months, top up, cash the second mortgage out. And so some people would just tend to look at the interest rate and get freaked out. But because that portion is only having to be there for a short period of time, the real interest costs over the 6 months are actually only about $3,000. That particular client's actually managed to buy about $70,000 under value. Obviously, you'd be quite happy to pay 3 to get 70.
Another thing to consider is if you do have potentially enough deposit, but only enough deposit and no money to do some renovations, another way to create some equity is to use a non-bank, do up the property and have it value up, potentially to the point where you may not stay with a non-bank, you may be able to refinance back to a main bank lender.
So there's definitely some options out there if you can't get through the banks. So potentially feel free to give us a call if this is an area you want to look at.